Hey people! Ow. Hey people! And today I'm going to take this concept drawing and turn it into a real-life custom-made magical wand. So let's dive into it. So what have we got here? Okay, the specs on this is very specific. We've got ground down Thestral Hoof. I'll have to get back to that one. We've got 9 3/4 inches long. That's that part, not the handle, just that part. Wood from the Forbidden Forest. We'll get back to that one as well. The grip is 7 inches long, that's fine. Leather wrap, and the cross section is 9 3/4/16 inch, whatever that means. Owl head pommel in gold. Owl claw grasping a ball, which is that there. That's gold. Yellow ball and rough wood texture on that itself. Okay, so let's head over to my supplies and see if we've got any of these ingredients. Okay, what have we got here? Let's see. We've got EVA foam 10mm, plastic and perspex, foam sponge, leather offcuts, and ooh, there it is, the Forbidden Forest section. We've got some forbidden wood here. That'll do for something. We've got a plastic forbidden bucket handle, some forbidden aluminium. We've got some paddock and cherry. We've got some copper tubing, square tubing. We've got some round tube. We've got some U-tube. What's this? Surely this can't be. This must be a mistake. It can't be. This is not from the Forbidden Forest. This hammer's forbidden. Alright, we'll start a bit of tan. I got a tan. Come on, it's a lovely piece. 10. Have I got a bit of tan? 11. We got 11. 11.5. 11.5. Yeah, 15.5. Any advance of 15.5? Yeah, sold to the gentleman in the back of the room for $16 million. Auction man. Right, forbidden wood. That looks the right thickness for the handle, and I can just carve that back a bit and then just give it some texture. Yes, I know what I'll do. I'm going to use epoxy sculpt. So all it is, it's a 2-part epoxy sculpt. You mix them together until they're all one uniform color, and you just use it like clay. Put it on, let it dry. You can sand it off, cut it, do whatever you want. But let's just cut this down to size first. Now this is an important part because one of the specifications is that the actual wand from here to there is exactly, precisely 9 3/4 inches long. So what I'll do is I'll just mark that, but I'm going to give it, no, in fact, I'll use the actual thing there, and I'll just go over, because I can always cut down. So we'll call that, and then we'll call that, just say the ball there, B for ball, and then H for handle, and W for wand, and O for owl. Again, I'll just cut this bigger. All I've got to do is just cut that, and then we've got our length. Perfect. Now let's make that ball. All I'm doing here, where it says B there, I'm just going to wrap this round to create a little tiny bump. And if we get that bump going, we can squish it down and make a little ball. I'll take that up. Where is that line? You know what? I'll just mark them up with a Sharpie. That's better. Much better. Aluminium tape. This is great stuff. Don't know what I'd do without this stuff. Just put it on there, just so it stays put. Yep. Perfect. Now, I don't know if you've noticed there, I've made it smaller. I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to just put one thin layer of fiberglass onto this before I put the epoxy sculpt on, because I don't want that epoxy sculpt to be too thick to be strong enough. But if I put one layer of fiberglass on that and just get it solid, then all that has to do is texture it. Let's make a little owl face just on there, just a rough outline. This always reminds me of that Jim Carrey movie where he goes, "It's a goose." Okay, that's good. Ooh. Shiny. Okay, just get some tape on there and all, just to hold that in place. That's good. Now let's shape that a bit. That looks better. You gotta love this stuff. It's brilliant. I bet you could make a whole sculpture just out of this stuff. Just buy loads of it and pile it on. Just bang it back into place. Do your shapes and then just sort of like seal it. So you see all that silver foil exposed. It would probably sell for millions of pounds. So they're on there nicely. Now let's just cut around this nice and smooth. Just so we got a nice clean edge. So when we put the fiberglass on, we want the fiberglass to stick to this wood so it keeps that ball centered. There we go. I'll do that with all of it. That came off nice. This one here. There we go, that's what we like. Nice, evenly spaced, straight lines. Perfect. So now I'm just cutting some very thin matting, very thin. Doesn't have to be super strong. Just to wrap around that, I want to take a look how much I'll need. So I'm going to make about 1 inches across and about 3 inches high. Just little strips like that. So all I'm doing here is I'm just going to mix up some resin with some catalyst. If you've seen me do this before, I explained, but if you haven't, it's basically you just read the tin and do exactly what it says on the tin. Mix it well, get around those edges, and we're good to go. Okay, one more go. Okay, one more go. Yes! Right, so all I'm doing here is I've just got a chip brush. I'm just soaking that bit of matting in the resin and just placing it on there and just go around it and tap it down so it stays down the best you can. It's a small area, it's hard to go around corners on this, but don't worry about it because we're going to be covering it, don't forget, with that epoxy. This is just to give it a little strength so it's more durable for all those wizard battles it's going to have to contend with. What you can do when it doesn't want to stick, just pull it and then it forms more to the shape, like so. There we go. Pull it back like that, like that. That's better. Just a bit more on that. It's good. No, it's not. I'm having trouble sticking that down. It doesn't want to fold, but there's a little technique you can do. Take a rubber glove, just cut a little piece off like that on the sides. So now you've got like a holder for it. So you get that on, get that ready, like so. Put the other glove on.
Duh.
Okay, just get that on there. I'll start with the new piece because it's got a bit. Just put it on there like that, like so. You can always sand these little bits down. Don't worry about that. You can do that later. Okay, just get some on there. So you've got some on. Once you've got it on, it's good. And then just pull that over. If I can get hold of it today, this is not going to work. Okay, so I've got a better idea. I'm going to put some of that on there. Just some of it so it's got something to glue down. We'll have to go over this in 2 passes because it's very fiddly stuff, this, when it's a small area like this. So I'll just get that on there, fold that back on there so it wants to hold. And we'll get this tape on it and just tape it on. It will not stick to the tape because tape itself is rubbery. Now that looks an absolute mess, but I can promise you that that will hold that in place and it will come off perfectly. Let's do the same for that. Okay, so that's all on. Let me just double check. It didn't slide around on me. No, that's perfect. We'll just let that set. It's been a couple of hours. Sounds good. Let's take a look inside. This is like Christmas morning. Solid. Perfect. Just take that off and we'll get some epoxy sculpt on that. Okay, now we can apply the 2-part epoxy sculpt. Now this technique, it does one of 2 things. One, it saves you a lot of epoxy to build up that ball area there. And also, by applying the aluminium foil first and then going over it with matting, it makes it much lighter so it won't be as heavy down the line in the future.
There it is again, that word heavy. Is there a problem with your gravitational pull? Hey, Marty!
Right, so we've got our epoxy sculpt, equal amounts, and just simply mix them together until they're all one colour. Okay, that's all mixed together. Now let's get him some eyeballs. Okay, so what we've got here is little ball bearings. We'll just find the right size for them eyes. That looks about right. Okay, we've got our little ball bearing eyeballs, and let's just place them on and see where they're going to live. One there, let's see, and the other one there. Oops, just stay there. Stay. You're giving me irritable owl syndrome, pal. Just stay there. Right, so I've just put a bit of that epoxy on there just to stick these eyes down. That's a better way to do it. Let's take a look. Oh yes, can you see it? Can you see it? It's already looking like something. A little bit on the head there, just to get it roughly formed out so we can sort of see what shapes. Just roughly, just to get an idea. He's got 2 little ears, there and there, like so. And then we'll just go around that. Just create some cheeks, just there. Just come up there like that, and all the way around. It just sticks on like that. It's really easy. Oh yeah, that's looking like a shape now. And that will just flare out a bit as if his feathers are like flared out because this owl is from the 70s and he's got flares like that. Okay, so I'll just refine that and then let that dry and then we'll sand it back and shape it properly. Give him a little beak, give him a little beak, little beaky. That flare will just like be like at the pommel so it stops your hand from sliding back. I'll refine this. I'll be right back. Made some progress here. What I'm going for is I'm not going for realism. You could sculpt this like realism, but what I'm going for is I'm going for like as if this was forged out of, you know, some sort of expensive metal like gold or some unobtainium. Very, very expensive metal forged with very primitive tools, so sort of like just hammered in, and that does two things. One, it gives it a look of it was forged in some mountain top somewhere or in a cave. And also, for my benefits, when we do the gold rub on there, it will really come to life. The lady I'm building this for doesn't know I'm making it because it's a surprise. Her husband has been like asking her questions, you know, randomly about if she ever could have her own custom wand, what would she like? She's talked about owls, her favourite colour, which is yellow. Thestral Hoof. If she's happy with it, I'll be happy. See how that's coming to life now? You can see it. So it's got all the correct shapes, but it's not refined. So it looks like it's, I don't know, not even like casted, like poured out of gold. It's kind of like one block that they found in some river somewhere and saw a certain shape and decided to refine that shape and make a owl head. So if I just temporarily just put some horns on there, you can sort of see there. And I'm sure she'll be using this wand around the house because I'm told that she sort of floats around the house with a wooden spoon and casts spells on things. And now she'll have the real deal. I was doing some research on owl faces and I looked it up and I found out some very interesting facts about owls. And one of them was, what's the most popular owl in England? And I automatically thought barn owl, you know. Turns out it's a tea towel. Okay, so we've gone all the way around now. Just get that equal. Just finish them ears and we can call him done. My little magical owl. Yes, you are. You're a little magical owl. Yes, you. That's who. You're magic, my friend. That's why I've called you Houdini. Okay, so I'm just refining that ball there and just getting it. Not, it doesn't have to be perfectly round because when this dries, you can go back in and sand it back and reshape it if you like. I'm trying to keep the owl as is. So I'll make the ball first, let it dry, and then I'll put the claw thing going on. I'll just cut that down there, like so. About there. Yeah, get off. Okay, push that back in to get that roll of these. Okay, I'm just putting the claws in here to a nice point. That's it. Last one. I'll just fix them cuticles. Let's see if we can make it work. Whoa. It's working. Okay, so now I'm just going to shape that down a bit. I don't know if you notice here on the drawing, I changed the claw to this way instead of this way, the way the drawing is, because I thought it looked more, it made more sense to me that there's his head and there's his claw, not there's his head and then there's his claw. I mean, it just makes no sense. So that's why I've done it that way around. It looks better, I think. So all I'm doing is I'm just making that just a little bit more sharper. Not too much. Watch your fingers here. That's better. But we've got to make sure that we don't go under the size 9 3/4. That's starting to look like something. Let's just make sure we've got that length. Yes, we've got. Okay, I don't know if you can pick up, but what happens is when you go in like that, you've got to look at both ends like that. You can't just look at it from one angle. So you've got there and there. We've still got plenty of space. We can just shave it down a bit, but you don't want to go too far because then you can't. So that's looking good. Cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Now I'm just wrapping this leather strip here onto it very carefully. Just a bit of super glue there. Start that there, like that, and then just get it on there, and then we can just wrap it round and it'll be fine. But you've got to start it off so it's really got some good bond there. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, and we'll just go over itself once, and then we can start laying over it like that. That's it. 2, and then we can do this. Then it's fine. We'll just go just along it like that in a few places, and that should hold it. That should hold it forever. Now if it's not perfect, don't worry about that, because it's, when we weather this, it'll go in between those little cracks and it'll just look so cool. You don't want it to be too perfect because this is not brand new. I mean, this is like hundreds of years old, passed down to different wizards at different times. It's aged, but it's aged well. Just cut that off there, in line with that. Right, that's all stuck on there nicely. Now I'll just put some masking tape on that. I'll put on some primer. Okay, while that dries, let's do some research on how to spell. Need a bucket. Okay, so now I'm just going in with some dark brown on the forbidden wood. Just cut all the way around and up. Nothing special, just paint it on. We've got a nice dark brown on that forbidden wood from the Forbidden Forest. Okay, so all I'm doing now is I'm just dry brushing with a lighter brown on that and just touching it like that, just touching it, just to bring out all those deep holes and bring out all those highlights, so it looks more like wood from the Forbidden Forest. What am I talking about? It is from the Forbidden Forest, just making it look more like wood from the Forbidden Forest. There we go. Yellow. Look at that. Oh yeah. Just these dry brushing techniques are just wonderful. How they can bring something to life so quickly just by kissing it like that. Now I'm just going in with some yellow on my finger, not on a paintbrush, because I don't want it to go into those grooves. So just stay on the surface. Just rub it. What happens is it turns yellow but doesn't go into all those grooves in the ball. That way it just stays on the surface. It is yellow, but we've got all that texture still there. Don't worry about going over that because that's going to be all painted gold. We're going in with some Goldilocks.
Who's been sitting in my chair eating my porridge on my bed? The end.
Okay, so I'm just going in with the gold and ever so slightly just kiss it like that. Just kiss it. There we go. Oh, that looks good. That looks lovely. And then when we're all done going around this, we'll have the big grand initiation ceremony. I'm just waiting on a package to get here. I ordered it on Amazon Wizard, all the way from the Alps, the highest, most extensive mountain range system that lies entirely in Europe, stretching approximately 1,200 kilometers. That's about 750 miles across 8 alpine countries, from west to east: France, Switzerland, Monaco, Italy, Liechtenstein, Austria, Germany, and Slovenia. Oh, that might be it. It's here. Whew. That's been through it. Wow. Fragile. It must be from the Italian mountains. That's strange. The Italians write their eyes upside down. Okay, let's open it. Thestral Hoof. Cool. Whoa. Cool. Oof. It smells like feet. Shiny. It's time for the initiation. Oof. And now we wait. Yes, yes.
Fire! Fire! Look what I have created! Look! Look! Fire! Fire!
Okay. The big reveal. Cool. Shiny. Let's weigh him. Okay, we've got our scales here, so let's put him on. Okay, so that's virtually 116. So it's 116 grams. So let's do the math. So we've got our fish scales is 1.243 divided by 0.116. Right, so it's 10.7 7, so the wand goes into the fish scales 10.7 times. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I certainly have. And like and subscribe obviously, but as I said before, if you've enjoyed it and you've learnt something, that's good enough for me. I'll see you next time.